Christian clinical psychologist, Dr. Bessie Fletcher. Dr. Bessie helps to heal the broken hearts of mothers and their daughters. If you and your daughter have brokenness in your relationship, please join the anointed and appointed one, Dr. Bessie. She's here to help you.
Hello, and welcome to My Mother, My Daughter, the Heart Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Bessie, and I'm here with mothers and daughters around the world. That includes you. And I'm excited. The show is going really well. We're getting calls. Mothers and daughters are interested. They want to tell their stories. I mean, we really have a list of women that are coming and saying, Dr. Fletcher, I want to tell my story. I was so amazed this week. I mean, there's a story that came through. Every story to me, it's like it takes me to a different level in my mental, I don't know what to say, hemisphere or whatever that is. You know what I mean? It just takes me to a different place. And I'm like, my God, God, what are you doing with these stories? God is untapping into hidden secrets that has been hidden, that has affected the family. And it's a spiritual Christian Me Too moment. This particular story, I was blown away. And I was like, Lord, I don't know where you're going, but I'm going to go where you tell me to go. So we have women lined up. You don't want to miss the shows for the next few weeks and on and on and on, because you're going to be amazed at what God is freeing people from, the women from. Mothers and daughters are being freed. They are being blessed. The responses are coming back. Even fathers are speaking up. Fathers are saying, I didn't know my daughter was going through that. One father said, if I had known that my daughter had gone through that, I would be in jail right now. Because he didn't know it was a hidden secret. He did not know. Fathers out there, mothers out there, you have got to listen to your children. When they come to you and say, I have something I want to tell you, stop. Stop. This gentleman's 80 years old. She's been trying to tell her father ever since she was 7 or 8, 9 years old. Nobody wants to listen. Please, I'm begging you, please. When your children come and say that they want to talk to you, please listen. Please listen. They don't have anybody else to go to. And mothers, you are the one. God gave you the children. It's up to you to nurture them. Please listen. Just, think about it. They don't have anybody else to go to. And I am pleading with you, all the mothers out there, all the daughters out there that has the potential of being a mother, I'm pleading with you to please stop and listen when your children want to talk to you. You just don't know what they're going through. And it takes a lot of talking to themselves and getting through, like, well, if I tell her, will she spank me? If I tell her, will I get punished? Well, if I tell her, will she believe me? If your child come to you and tell you something, you know your child. You know when they're telling the truth. Don't act like you don't know. Time is up. God said it is time to reveal the hidden secrets. And they are coming in. They are coming in. My phone is ringing. Emails. Because of the few stories that we've told just in the last 5 weeks. People are being touched. They're crying. They're shedding some of the hurt, because the stories remind them that they too have a hidden secret. Mothers and daughters, it is very important how you get along in the family, because you have to realize, mother, if you have a daughter, then you're going to have a granddaughter, hopefully. Or if you have a son and you have a granddaughter, it's important how you handle yourself as a mother and as a grandmother, as the matriarch. They are watching you. And I just wanted to say that before we got started today, because it is so important to just get the message out. Mother and Daughter Faith Trust Ministry, we have been around for a long time. I'm a Christian clinical psychologist. I've seen a lot. I'm a chaplain. I've heard a lot. But I'm telling you, God is saying it is time for you to address the issues in your family. You know the stories. It's time to forgive. Everybody says it's end time, it's the end days. You know, we've been hearing that for years. But look at the signs, the fires, the hurricanes, the tornadoes. See, you know, come on, the killings, the shootings, just people just can't get along. Those are signs. And we as mothers, we have got to attend to our own family. Don't worry about the world. Just get your family in order. Bring your children to the table. Sit down and have dinner. Talk about the issues. Let them know you love them. Let them know that if there's anything that they need to talk about, you're willing to hear. And hopefully you're in that position to do that, because some of you mothers out there, you need to work on yourself. So, we're here to help you. There's no excuse. But every mother needs to take responsibility for their own family. If each one of us did that, think about what a beautiful world this would be. It would be a beautiful world. So with saying all of that, I have a wonderful guest with me today, Darlene Lyons. And she too came by way of referral. I love it because God keeps sending these ladies. I don't go out. I don't do ads. I don't ask anybody, if you want to be on the show. I didn't do that with the radio or any other the products that we have. I just sit back and they show up. And she wanted to share her story. And it's a beautiful story because her story is going to be able to take us to a different level. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in Darlene. And just one second. Hi, Darlene.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great, Dr. Bessie. It's so great to be on your show today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, I am excited. We had such a wonderful, brief conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Tell the audience who you are. Give them a brief description of who you are, and then we're going to give them a little bit more at the end.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Darlene, and I am a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a business owner, and so many other things, mostly a servant of God. So I'm just grateful to God to be here today. And that about sums it up.
Oh, it's a lot more to her audience. Trust me, she's being real modest right now. From a little girl to where she is now, God has been really good to her. So, she's being modest, and it's okay. It's okay because, we want to always give God the glory. We don't want to get to the point where we think that we're doing so much. That's why when somebody says, "Oh, Dr. Fletcher, I wanted to call you, but I know you're real busy." I said, "I'm not real busy." I'm not real busy. No, I won't let people put that on me. "Oh, well, I know you're busy." No, I'm just doing what I need to do for the day because I work for the Lord.
That's right.
Just like any other employer, I'm working for the Lord. So I'm working. If he sent you to call, then let's talk. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So, Darlene, tell me a little bit about you as a child when you were growing up. Let's start. I like to start back to give just a little introduction so people can see that the beautiful woman that you are now. Where did you come from? Out of the womb of your mother, and then all of a sudden there was little Darlene. Tell us about little Darlene.
Well, little Darlene was born to a teenage mother in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And I ended up being with my grandparents for a few years. My mother was, and back then, it wasn't popular to be a mother without a husband. And so my mother was pregnant her senior year of high school. She finished. When she graduated, I walked with her. So she was about 6 months. And then my dad was supposed to get married, but he decided, hey, let's go to the Vietnam War other than going to the marriage. So he left the day of the wedding. And I was born. I was born, Dr. Bessie. And my mother went into a depression, and my grandparents, of course, they took over. Mm-hmm. And they raised me till I was about 7, 8. Then my mom, she went north and then came back. She came back. She was married, and I had a brother and a sister. So
wait a minute, hold on. So your dad, I just want you to. I'm like, okay, let's stop right there. Your dad married your mom.
No.
Oh, he went away.
Yeah, to the Vietnam War.
Okay, okay. I thought you said the day of the wedding he went away. Okay, that was going to say now. Wait a minute, there's
Yes.
something missing.
The day of the wedding, he joined the Vietnam War. You know how the little buses used to come through the towns? He got on that bus.
I got you now. So he was a runaway groom.
Yes, that's
Okay,
it.
all right, okay.
Now you got it.
I got it. Okay,
He said no, but I still came.
okay.
So of course, my grandparents they took responsibility for me. My mom she was in a depressed place, so they sent her to Chicago, and she ended up staying up there, getting a job with Bell South back in those days. But I was in Mississippi with her, with my grandparents. So my mother came back when I was probably about 7. She moved back to Mississippi, but she was married to my sister's dad, not mine. So they never got married. But
Okay.
I had a healthy childhood up until when I reached my teenage years.
Okay.
And that's when things turned.
Okay. When you say healthy childhood, describe that. What are you talking about?
Healthy childhood, as in I knew nothing but love.
Mhm.
I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I was loved. I
Okay.
was provided. I was just loved, you
Okay.
know. So I didn't have, any, that was nothing. I can't say anything bad about that part, right?
Mhm.
But when I started as a teenager, and plus as a teenager, we started liking boys. So
Yeah. Okay.
I knew the difference between them and me. It was
Right. Right.
it was
Right.
something different.
Right. Right.
So now my mom is back. She was heavy in the church. And of course, my grandparents took me to church, but then once my mom moved back, slowly she wanted me with her. And I didn't want to go live with her. I didn't mind visiting, but I didn't want to live there. But
Right.
as I got older, about 13, of course, she had younger kids. So she needed me to be there, right? Because my mother eventually divorced. So it was just us. But we lived right next door to my grandfather.
Okay.
So she
I
needed
understand.
help. So my mother was a counselor in the church. She was very good with young people. She was very good with that.
Mhm.
But when it came to me, I had to live by a whole different level of standards versus what she would, it was okay for them. Um, can I kind of go forward to what? So as I got to where I thought, okay, my mom used to say, Darlene, if you ever think that you want to get on birth control, then you tell me. I don't
Mhm.
want you to end up in a situation that you're not ready for. Of course, she was talking about a baby.
Right.
So I watched her over the next few years as other girls were older than me, but they was coming through the church. My mother would talk to their parents and explain to them that she's a young woman. You can't keep her forever as a little girl. And it would be better for them to allow her to get on the pill and then to have an unwanted pregnancy. She taught about that. So my junior year, coming out of junior, going into my senior year, I went to my mother one afternoon. It was on like a Saturday, and she was studying her Bible as usual before the next day. My mother taught, and well, she was great in that word. So when I went, I'll never forget it. When I went in there, she was laying down reading her Bible, and she said, "What's going on?" I said, "Ma, I need to speak with you about." She said, "What's going on, Darlene?" I said, "Nothing's going on, but you told me if I ever felt like I might get in a situation to come and tell you, so I want to go to the doctor." What did I say that for? You want to be a whore? You is that why you want the pill? Because she just went ballistic. I mean, why do you want the pill? I said, Mom, you told me to come to you. You told me to come to you. And now I don't understand. Why do you need the pill? Keep your clothes on. You shouldn't be having sex anyway. A whole nother standard for me. And that's when our relationship it just went south or north. It just went every direction. And I couldn't talk to her anymore. She started, being harder on me. All you want to do is sleep with him. I said, Mom, that's not what I want to do. That's why I'm coming to you. I'm trying to be responsible. Like, well, that's their daughter. You're not their daughter. You're my daughter.
Wow.
That I that was but out of and then I did end up pregnant.
Well, let's stop you right there at the pregnancy.
Okay.
Because what I hear, it's amazing. I love to release myself to the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit came out with that, listening to your children. I was like, and now when you say that, I said, Holy Spirit, you are good. He set the stage because he knew what you were coming with.
Yes.
Now, your mother is looking, and no disrespect to her because she's not here, but she was probably visioning in her mind as a teenager being pregnant. She knew what that was like. It's different when it's a child that you birthed and has brought into the world, and so that's mine. That belongs to me. But I can counsel everybody else. Right. But that's what I tell mothers. You cannot be a hypocrite. You can't have the double standards, right? Because that's what kills the relationship. And then you wonder why it takes years to get those relationships back together.
Yes.
Simply because they see, well, then you're not an honest person. You're in church, you're preaching the gospel, you're teaching Sunday school, you're helping everybody else's daughter. But when it comes to me, then all of a sudden I'm a whore. When you told me to come to you, you see the double standards? And that's what messes it up. So now, after that, you didn't get on the pill, obviously.
No.
Because now you're pregnant. Tell us, now start there again.
Okay. So that was that summer. So that Christmas is when, December 25th, that's when I got pregnant. I know exactly when I got pregnant. And I hid it all the way through May of the next school because I was a senior. So my waistline, I didn't have nothing. So it kind of didn't come out until June the 8th. I remember it like it was yesterday, Dr. Bess.
Wow.
And I woke up that morning. I had finished high school, and I woke up that morning and there was a little bump in my stomach. And I knew I couldn't hide it anymore because I weighed 115 pounds and there was this thing there. So she heard me crying in the back and she said, "Stop crying. I already know what's wrong with you." She was so angry. So she stopped talking to me. She said, "I'm going to buy you some clothes." She got a lot of them made. And she got the insurance card. She called she wasn't my aunt by blood, but she was my mom's first cousin. And she told her, "I need you to take her to a private doctor." She had Blue Shield, Blue Cross, gave her all my stuff. And then she called my godmother in Chicago. She said, "I'm sending her to you. She'll be there next week." And she took me to the doctor. The doctors checked me out, said I was healthy, yada, yada, but I couldn't go anywhere. She said, "You're leaving here." So she sent me there. I cried the whole time I was there. My godmother eventually, in about a month, she said, "This girl wants to be close to you, even though you're not talking to her." She would not talk to me. She was embarrassed of me. Not that I was the first, but I was hers, and I was not supposed to be pregnant. Even though I had asked her, it was really bad. I had, now you understand, my family was real vain. So as far as clothes, where we lived, all that kind of stuff, you keep all that looking good. I didn't have problems where I didn't have clothes and things like that, but This is the way I was treated. You've embarrassed everybody. You know, my grandmother was so angry with me. She said you didn't have nothing else to do but do like these other, you know, she called me the same word, the whore word. And then my mother gets upset with her when she calls me that, because she called her that when she was pregnant with me. But she called me that when I came to ask her about getting on protection. My mother relationship with me and her stayed like that, Dr. Bessie, for a long time. It was never the way it was when I was a young girl. I was never just close to my mom. um I had the baby, and I went through a thing where my baby was like the first baby to be born into our family in like 18 years. There was no babies in our family, so he became the first great grandchild, the first great nephew, the first nephew. He was the first everything um, in my immediate family. And needless to say, he was well taken care of financially. Once I had him, he was no longer my baby, he was her baby. But now, this the same baby you just tortured me with all these months, right? You wouldn't talk to me. I wasn't nothing. I done embarrassed you. It was just a multitude of things.
Okay,
Um,
so I'm gonna stop you right there. Now, our ministry is based on Ezekiel 16:44. Okay,
okay.
and that is, as is the mother, comma, so is her daughter. That God said, and God explained that to me. And I won't get into all of that because I've done that in other shows, and well, I hit on it, and people can go to the Bible and read it for themselves.
Okay.
But just imagine your mother, and I'm just using this from uh, prior experiences, counseling sessions, and things that I've realized over the last 24 years working with mothers and daughters.
Yes, ma'am.
She was hoping that she could live through you.
Yes.
She wanted to see you do what she did not accomplish. And that was the greatest hurt. When a mother try to relive their lives through their daughter, it doesn't work, because God has us as separate individuals. There is no such thing as I can live through you. And I can say that because my mother was living through me. The things that she didn't get to do, I was successful, and, she was just so proud, and, and it was just because they don't have anything else to sort of pump them up, not knowing that you can start where you are and become a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever you want to be, you can be. There's no age is not the limit.
Right.
But she really, you saw it. She called you the same thing her mother called her.
Her. Yes.
You see how that domino effect
Yes.
came from her mother? And I guarantee you, your grandmother had a similar relationship with her mother, because we actually turn into our mothers until somebody decide, okay, I'm gonna cut the cord. Now you and your daughters, you can say, okay, that's it.
Yes.
At least if my daughter come to me, I'm gonna talk to them. There's certain things you have to say when you know that you've been mistreated. Don't take that mistreatment and pass it on. You got to be able to cut the cord and say, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. And that's what I did with my daughter. I'm like, nah, whatever I didn't like, and I'm an only child, so me and my mother was best friends. But whatever I didn't like, a spanking or whatever, any little treatment, I said, okay, I'm not gonna do that to my daughter. And I made sure that I didn't do that, because I decided, no, I didn't like it, so I know my daughter wouldn't like it. So now you have the son, and now he's everybody's son. Isn't that amazing how they can become grandparents, and then all of a sudden, Bill Cosby said a long time ago, years ago, he said that grandparents are nicer to the grandchildren.
Yes.
They're trying to make up with God for the way they treat the children. And that makes sense, because all of a sudden the grandparent, man, you like, really? You got, either you pretending, you're a hypocrite, or you're really trying to restructure yourself and do better. But before you can jump to that grandson, you got to come back to that daughter, that mother. and you need to apologize to that mother. You need to tell her, baby, I am sorry. Because that's why a lot of grandmothers don't see their grandchildren today. Because the daughter says, you know what? No. I will not let you poison my children the way you poisoned me. So I will not let you see your grandchildren. And now they're up in age and they hurt because they can't see. But you still can make it right. All you got to go and do is apologize.
Yes.
Apologize. You know, we're not perfect people. There's no perfect mother and daughter relationship. Right. Apologize and say, can we start all over again? One of the ladies that I interviewed, her daddy is 80 years old. When he found out what she had gone through, saying that I would have been in jail today, had I known, what did he say to her? Baby, because they wasn't talking. Nobody was listening. He said, can we start all over again? Will you forgive me? Can I start up? 80 years old. You see? So you can start anywhere, mothers. Don't let the excuse, well, it's been going on for 40 years and get over it. Stop it. You know? I'm sorry, you get me preaching up in here. Go ahead. Thanks for watching. You don't want to miss next week's show. We look forward to seeing you for part 2.
As is the mother, so is her daughter. A strong mother and daughter relationship has a powerful impact on the family and the community. It is one of the most robust bonds there is, and yet it is also one of the most delicate. This is a relationship that must be given the utmost care. Mother and Daughter Bonding Network believes there is no substitute for a healthy bond of love between a mother and her daughter. It is our mission to develop this strong bond of love and remove the elements that weaken the mother and daughter relationship. Through support and counseling, we provide education, resources, and spiritual wisdom to mother and daughter communities on the premise of love and in the mindset that an educated mother is a highly effective role model and an inspiration for her daughter to complete her education. Mother and Daughter Bonding Network provides a safe and supportive place where mothers and daughters can forgive, reconnect, revive, and strengthen their bond through a process of continuous healing. We engage the mothers and daughters to bravely face and resolve the ups and downs in their relationships. We connect and empower mothers and daughters so that the process of transforming conflicted or troubled relationships into positive and healthy ones goes across generations and creates better and sustainable communities. Connect with us today at our website, www.matriarchnow.com, and change the mother-daughter relationship for the better for today, tomorrow, and all days to come.